across the Atlantic, two men separated by time zones, accents, and wildly different snack preferences join forces. Not for glory, not for fame, but for something far more noble, a live stream. This is not just any live stream. No, this is Hold My Net. And so, dear viewer, you are not here to be entertained. You are here to be transformed or mildly amused. Either is fine. From the United States, Ty, a man fueled by questions, coy food, and the occasional button he probably shouldn't press. And across the great pond, literal pond, Arron, from Humber, steady, informed, British. Together they are not hosts. No, they are guides. They'll bring you experts. They'll bring you insight. They may even bring you slightly awkward pauses as someone forgets to unmute their mic. Each month, the current brings with it a new guest, a traveler of the koi world, a bearer of insight, experience, perhaps even a few well-earned scars. Together, we cast our nets wide, not to catch but to understand, to pull up the deep things, the overlooked, the misunderstood. But that's the point, isn't it? This isn't scripted. This isn't rehearsed. This is the koi world, raw, real, and occasionally full of pond sludge. Each month they cast their net, not to trap but to explore, to gather wisdom from the brightest minds in koi keeping, and to share it with you, the brave viewer, who could be watching literally anything else right now. So whether you're here to learn, to laugh, or because you thought this was a cooking stream, welcome. You've entered the koi pit. You've tuned in to Hold My Net. Let's just hope Ty remembered to hit the go live button this time. But if not, that's what Arron's for.
Yo, Arron and Ty, my two legends from the Hold My Net, coming to you all the way from Japan here, boys. Arrived back at Suetsugu. I know I said we were here yesterday, but I was a bit rough and ready after all the travelling, so went for a nice meal last night with the family from here, Koji and that, and his lovely wife and children, and now we're back today to look at some fish. So I do think there's a couple of pieces in here. Certainly tickle my fancy. There is a kohaku that I've looked at, which he says is his best sansai from the harvest. It's over there, this one. So I think I might get that out and have a little look. But anyway, fellas, I just wanted to give you a shout out from Japan. Now that I've had a shower and I'm a bit fresher, and I hope to catch up with you guys when I get back. Take it easy, fellas.
Welcome to Hold My Net, the show where Arron and I bring Dave on to tell us all about his trip to Japan.
Welcome.
So,
it's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, no.
It's been a minute, but no, I've been super excited to do this and to hear everything about your trip, Dave. So it's funny, when we're on this end and I'm waiting for us to come back on screen, I can't hear the intro that Dave did. I watched it like a week ago, but I can't remember everything you said. So, but no.
You know all he was saying is trash about you, Ty. The full 2 minutes.
It was like, Arron, why are you wasting your time with this guy? You know what I mean? It's about time you moved on.
No, so before we go in,
I think Aaron's gonna figure me out eventually, but
I want
don't sell yourself short, man. Don't sell yourself short.
And obviously, before you went to Japan, you did a couple of shows this year, didn't you? You did the Newark show and you did the Digital Koi show.
Yeah, I did the Great British Koi Show this year. A lot of people don't know, but the Great British Koi Show is actually hosted by the Yorkshire section of the BKKS. So as well as the Great British VAT, there's the first sort of, I think, 12 or 13 VATs. There's actually a closed show there as well for the Yorkshire section members only. So yeah, did you kind of enter in two shows if you're a member of the Yorkshire section, if you get me. And yeah, I did the Joe's Digital Koi Show on the Koi Perspective podcast. Am I allowed to mention that on here, guys?
Of course, you can mention any podcast. Joseph is a friend of the channel.
Yeah. So Joe's. To be honest, it was I only entered one fish, and that was because I'd imaged it and videoed it recently. I didn't want to get many fish out of the pond just to enter. Although in hindsight, I think next year I'll probably get a lot more out because it was quite a good event. To be fair,
it might not be a bad idea if you ever do have to get a fish out for some reason. It'd be a great time to get those photos and record it and everything, so you don't have to do it more than once.
Yeah, well, after the trip to Japan, I'm gonna have to get a few out to move on. So I've literally bought a gazebo and been over to see Darren at Absolute Koi to get a big bowl big enough, and I'm gonna be getting plenty out. I was planning for it this weekend, but that was before my roof fell in.
Oh man. And for those of you that didn't see Dave's video, me and Leo popped down on the morning to help him lift his koi into the vat. It's the first time that I'd seen Dave's pond and his filter shed, but unbeknown to him, like I was scouting it out for how he has his filters on his pond to see if his technique would work the same as mine. And that the model I had in my mind was the way that Stuart Greenwood Koi had it, and it just so happens that Dave has it exactly the same way. So one of the biggest things for me was seeing someone with a standalone drum and a separate bio, so you can divert water both ways. So for seeing that as well, that was a massive help to me to secure in my mind how I wanted to do things. And I know I can ask for pictures and stuff like that, but even just seeing the way that it's piped and stuff like that was a really big help to go, right, that is definitely now the way I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I could have saved a lot of room in my filter room if it had fitted a big, massive combi drum, but the fact was I like the run of high flow through the mechanical and a slower flow through the biological, and a lot of the combi drums you're not able to do that, so that's why I went for the two separate units, and I can control how fast the water goes through my bio versus how fast it pulls through the bottom drains to go through the drum, and it was always going to be that way. I designed that filter house long before I ever designed the pond. The filtration was all pretty much the benchmark of the way it was going to be done. The only thing that wasn't on the design was having the nexus on the skimmer. I had a Cetus sieve, which was on the original design, and I did fit that, but I removed it because I like the way the nexus works, especially with clays and advantage and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, if I had the space, because now I've had to like the initial design of mine was not to step the front of the filter house in. I would have had the width to put something more in there. But when it was like, oh, it'll be easier, Arron, if we just build this pond 6 inches longer because we won't have to have a cut. Yeah, do all that. I didn't think that I'd put that mark in it to get the heat pump at the end of it. And then me just not thinking that day, saying, yeah, don't do it with a cut, it'll be better. Just scrapped that, so now I've got a step in the filter house, which it looks all right. And to be fair, like now I've put a bit of thought into it, it's going to be far more maintainable there if I ever need to do anything than being right in a back corner where I would have had to climb over it to do out. So
Well, it's completely custom and it made the fit. I think it looks good.
It is. Let's talk about your show-stopping Sankey. The one that,
Yeah.
and the good thing is that Ty managed to see it, right? So, can you remember how to say it, Ty?
Shwesiku?
Yes.
Come on.
Koji will be proud.
Yeah.
So that's a go.
So I was practicing it before the show. I was like, I had to rewatch that video where Dave told me 5 times just in case I got put on the spot. But
No, well, I got that fish, I think, last year. Was it last? No, it was this year. I bought it from the harvest last year, but I didn't actually get it into my pond until the start of this year. And I'd sent Chris out to Japan to try and find me something special. And talking to Koji about it, he said it was the second best fish on the farm. But I've seen the other kohaku, and it's definitely the first best fish on the farm. But yeah, I think it has a lot to do. A lot more to come on, which will benefit in our water. The sumi will come up more. The body has put on loads from it come here. You've seen that yourself when we took it over. And yeah, I mean, it took in the closed show, the Yorkshire section, it was Supreme Champion. And it took second best Sankey at the Great British. It was beat by a lovely Sankey that was just more finished. And it also took mature champion in Joe's show. So there's plenty of glassware and trophies and rosettes and stuff downstairs for her. And I do think there is a future for that fish. I do think there's more to come, without a shadow of a doubt.
I do as well. I think when we walked around the show, the other one was just more finished.
Yeah.
But I think what you've done with that in the time that you've had it, and there's plenty more years to come with it, it will do really well.
Yeah, it sort of arrived. It was in my pond in January, you know. Water's a bit cooler, heater's not on, you're not feeding, and then you're trying to get some food down it for a show in August. And then, you know, you're dropping the temperatures down prior, you're chilling the water, and you're off the feed. It's just, I think if I do show it next year, I think there's definitely a future in that fish for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. And to be fair, walking around the show after they put the stickers on, before they even, announced who had won this, that, and the other, the Sankey that actually beat me, I took a photograph of that fish and I sent it to Chris. I said, I think this one beats her on the day, and I think that Sankey took mature champion, was it, at the Great British, and it was a lovely fish. Unfortunately, I've heard, I think she's passed away since the show, and I know the koi was unwell at the show, but you know, so heart goes out to the bloke that's lost it, but it was a stunning fish. You know, I'd be devastated if I lost a koi like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that you ever want to see anyway, especially when your koi's in someone else's care. But it does have the best team.
Yeah, I mean, I must say, complete hats off to the guys at the Yorkshire section, the show team. You know, they kept that fish alive, and you know, it was a phenomenal full hands-on effort. Like, you know, Sarge Malcolm was there for hours holding it up in water, for 4 hours holding her upright. You know, the effort from everyone on site. There was nothing anybody could have done. I am actually surprised that he was able to get the koi home and into his own pond, you know, from what I've seen.
So, you've got a lot of silverware, and then you decided, I'm off to Japan. Because we're not going to speak about this, with a £20 budget to buy some of the best fish I've ever seen.
I know my wife's sat downstairs watching this. So
literally, as everybody's partners knows, that all fish in ponds are worth £20. So no questions will be answered regarding the price of fish. But he had 20
I
quid to
usually
go
pick
to the
mine up
panel.
for like 10. So
Yeah.
I know
But
you're
hey,
lying
Dave,
because you don't pick them up. You get them shipped. There's nowhere near you to get them. So I know that. I know that's a lie.
Yours is 20 plus postage in it,
Yeah,
Ty.
20 plus shipping.
yeah, plus shipping. Dave, looks like Vince had a question for you. Would you do the national show?
Is that the twisted one or Vince?
Yeah.
The thing about the national is Arron will tell you when he come to my house for the Great British, I was a nervous wreck taking me fishing hour up the road to Newark. Problem with the national is, I mean, if they moved it a bit closer to me, then yeah, I would probably do it. But it's traveling. I mean,
Yeah.
never say never. Big plans for the pond this year to move a lot of fish out, get a lot of quality fish in that I've selected when I'm out there, and maybe hit the show scene hard next year. But the pond will dictate that. If I look at the fish and think I'm happy enough to move them and I'm okay traveling with them, then yeah, I may consider it. But at the minute, not really.
No, I can definitely appreciate that. There's a lot of big shows in California that I've considered. Maybe that'd be something fun to go do, but we're talking like a 10, 11 hour drive to go down there. And
Did they say it right?
that
So
I get so much heartburn just thinking about it.
Yeah.
When Dave was in Japan, I already put, I'll give you the £20 that you paid for your fish if something bad happens to you.
Yeah. And that's when I'm worried that Aaron's going to hire someone to bump me off just so he can get all my fish for 20 quid.
Yeah. Do you know what? It would be really good to see down there. And it is a great venue and it's a great place. I love going down there. And it's not just for that. It's the fact that when we go down there, we stayed in a hotel. Loads of people stayed in the same hotel. It was a cracking night, and then straight on to 2 great days. It was really good, but I am very tempted to camp over next year at the Great British. I know it's close, but
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be camping. We're going to go up and help the guys set up and everything next year, because there's so much work involved. I'm just going to plan it a bit better with my own work, my own company, and that. And I think me and the missus and the dogs are going to nip over there in the camper van and help them prep. Definitely, the guys could definitely do a hand.
Tickets for the rock festival on the night as well.
Oh no, I ain't interested in that. Rock fest, unless the Who are playing, then I might go. But yeah, no,
I guarantee you, the Who won't be playing at that one.
Well, there we go. There's no way I'm breaking into a rock festival. With Lee Hadfield running around half naked, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. As Vince has put there, it was absolutely ace. It was, to be fair. We had a right laugh. I think there must have been about 30 of us at that hotel, and we had a right laugh.
But that's what it's all about, the YouTube piece and all that. That I've had a YouTube channel probably longer than most, but I just fire a video on as and when it suits me. And the friends that I've made, the people that I have on WhatsApp, even outside of YouTube now, we just drop a message now and again when you get a new fish or and it's great. It really is great.
So you've boarded the plane with your £20. Did you know what you wanted before leaving, or did you have a plan in the back of your head that I want a particular type?
No, there was no. What I wanted was a breeder to put something in a bowl and me to go, bloody hell. you know, something that was a bit special, something that I just, and I'm quite a good decision maker. I don't really beat around the bush, and I knew as soon as I see something like that, I'll know, and I'll go, yeah, that's the one. That's the one for me, and that's what I was looking for, and I got it. I'm pleased to say I got it. But no, there was no particular variety. I'll be honest, I was probably thinking another Sankey because Soetsugu, I had his farm, Koji's Vision. It's an old traditional style Sankey bloodline, and it's really really well respected. But Subo, Sumi, small bits of Sumi. I mean, he's changed it this year. I was talking to him. He's changed the bloodline to increase the Sumi, to have a bit more Sumi, because that's more what the market's dictating. That's more what people are wanting. Where I for me, if I want a Sankey with a load of Sumi, I'm thinking of a nice Showa, to be honest. A Sankey's a Sankey and a Showa's a Showa. So I prefer the bloodline. That's kind of what I had in my head. I'll go and I'll pick myself another really special Sankey, but the Sankey spawning the last year wasn't very good. He said he struggled, to be honest, and that's why I ended up going down the route that I went down.
Over to you for a second, Ty, because I'm just got like 10 million screens open and trying to put Dave's image on it.
Dave has 10,000 £20 notes. Bloody hell, I wish.
Okay. So, I think that actually makes a lot of sense to go into Japan not having any expectations or something that you were looking for specifically, right? That way you're not.
I seen it, one of the guys that was with us was dead set on a Kajako, and we went to multiple farms, and he was like, no, I'm saving myself for Omasako, Shiro Otsuri, Kajako, they're the best, right? And when we got there, the farm had been pretty well picked over, and he was like, and he missed out, I think. But if I'd have done that and was specifically looking for a certain variety, I could have ended up there myself. For me, it was just about getting something that bowled me over, really. And I mean,
yeah.
How many times did you go, Vince again with another question? I was just reading it there. How many times did you go, bloody hell? Yeah, there was so many times. Like, we went to the Ogata Cup, and the koi on show in the cup were mind blowing. And I was with Chris, my dealer, and he had a lot of customers with Azakari fish out there. One of them was Donald Kerr. We had to go around and everyone knows Donald Kerr's got some right special fish in Japan, and we had to go around and bowl up and image his fish to send them images to see how they'd done. And there was a lot of times where I thought, geez, really, really special fish, but they weren't for sale. Marachiku's Edgy's harvest that we got to witness, which was such an experience. Him and his father harvesting the pond up, netting it up, such a mind-blowing experience. And they had some beautiful fish. And I was asking, but 90% of the pieces that I felt, whoa, were already sold. Customers had already bought them. They were Azakari, and it was like, right. Omasako, as I said, had been really well picked over, and they were mainly Shiro Otsuri and Kajako, and I don't really want black and white in the pond. They're not for me. And Okawa, they had some lovely fish as well, but there wasn't really anything that jumped out to me and spoke to me. And so I'm just going to text my family and say, can someone grab my dog? Because he's barking at my office door because he can hear me.
Did you already have a roadmap in your head of the farms that you wanted to visit where you could potentially buy from?
No, I mean the whole trip was pretty full on. Like being with Chris Masters, the guy's like royalty out there. It was like going around. Everyone wanted to stop him. Everyone wanted a photograph. It was the Ogata Cup. He was head judge, and like, you know, the day of the show, the night before, Manabu and his wife, they had us all out for dinner. You know, they were. So yeah, there's Chris there judging. I mean, they had us all out for dinner the night before. Then the night of the show, and there was literally signs up in the hotels saying your Ogata bus will pick you up in all the hotels in the south of Japan. And you know, they took us to Ogata. It was so full on. Then we, you know, bullet trained over to Hiroshima and went to Omasako. And I will say, Omasako's got the most gorgeous views up at that farm. Fish aside, looking out over the mountains at Omasako was breathtaking. And you know, Chris had sort of lined us up with all his dealers. So you know, Koji picked us up from the airport from Soetsugu, and then Ogata, Marachiko, Okawa, Omasako. You know, we did go around to visit a few, and there was, you know, there was great koi at every one of them.
But so obviously you went over with Chris. So for anybody that don't know, Chris is the guy that way, in the middle,
with the glasses on.
With the glasses on. You went over with Chris Masters, and obviously he's that respected that he is head judge at the Ogata Cup. So obviously you went over with someone that's well respected over there, and you managed to do a koi show while he was over there where someone you knew was judging.
Yeah.
What would you say the koi show is like over there in relation to judging and stuff like that versus the ones that you've been to in the UK?
Well, it's all sort of done in 20 minutes, the judging. We're here in the UK.
Sorry, I clicked on a video by accident. I thought it was a picture and it just completely drowned your voice out.
Yeah, it's all sort of done faster. And there was teams of judges. I mean, Mike Snaden was also there. He was a head judge. And the first thing to do is Grand Champion A, Grand Champion B. And it's like everyone sort of votes on what theirs is. And I mean, some of the fish in that show, but the majority, 95% of these are customer owned. They're all Azakari. So Manabu's built that new big greenhouse, which is where the show was held. And literally the whole site is for growing koi for customers, for Azakari. And they have this open show. And yeah, you know, the judging tends to happen a lot quicker and they don't pull fish apart. But body wins everything. And I actually attended 2 shows while we were out there. I'd one to go to on the day we flew home. And that's because I ended up having 6 fish entered in the show. So, yeah.
So, I'm not going to bring Dave's fish up on screen because he hasn't done his video for that yet, and that would be really tight. But the QR code that I brought up on the screen, that's to Dave's channel. So if anyone's not subscribed to him, hop over and give him a subscribe, and then you'll be able to see that video when it comes out. Here's a little clip that...
Did I give you any footage of the Grand Champion?
Of this show, you gave me this...
I think the good thing about the Ogata Cup is all the fish are being held at the same farm. So they can just chuck all the 55 billion, 1 VAT, all the 65, all the 70 plus. Do you know what I mean? Because they're all...
That was one thing that I was wanting to ask you. So
there's no cross-contamination. So it's like, this is your 55s, this is your 65, you know. and everything goes in the same vat. So you're judging, Chris was running around judging best in size, best in all from the same vat. But to be honest, some of them vats I sent you were pretty scarce. There was not, but other ones were just completely full of fish, and I'm like, how the hell do you judge? Oh yeah, that one under there at the bottom at the back, that looks like it was mad, but they were able to do it.
Jonathan has a question. Sorry, I spelt your name wrong, Jonathan. I was literally trying to hit all of these windows and then type on another screen myself. But here's a question for you, Dave.
What was the difference in buying experience? For me, buying it at Sweatsagu was that whole farm was harmony. It was just us there, and then I could select the fish and decide what I want. The auction at Ogata was a completely different kettle of fish. It was absolute carnage, madness. Everyone had auction sheets with all the fish that were going through. All the dealers knew and it was so hard. And then it was mind blowing, the price of the fish. To be honest, people think you're going out to Japan and every fish is a $5. I was blown away. I didn't buy anything at the auction, but there was Chinese bidders there, and once they got into it, I was telling the boys here before we come on air, once they get into it, it was like a massive knob measuring contest. Can I say that on here? And it was, they were just stood there with their finger. They were just stood there with their finger up, looking at each other across the room, and you got the auctioneers going, and the price of the koi is just going up. And these guys are looking at each other, not even looking at the price of the fish. They're just waiting for someone to give in and put the finger down. And it was like, 20 grand for a Benny Goy that was 5-year-old. And I was just like, what just happened? Crazy.
Quickly into your next question regarding the dealers are saying it's hard to get good value. Now, dealers I know, and I've got massive faith in, are saying that on these auctions, other countries are just buying it for ridiculous price.
The big names, Sakai, Danichi, it's just brand, isn't it? They're buying Tosai Showa, Tosai Sankey at this size, for 3-4 grand. Nobody knows what that fish is going to do. Nobody. I mean, you get the genetics and bloodlines, you might have a slight inkling, but let's face it, we've all bought Tosai and a few years later gone, bloody hell, look at the state of that. It happens. It's why I've gone to buying bigger fish now and cutting out the risk. But I can't comment about Niigata. I didn't go there. I wasn't in the auctions. I was in the south. But I seen what went on at Ogata. I mean, the day after the auction, they have like an open sale event, and I've got loads of footage. I'll put it all out on my channel. And literally, they've got all the fish in bags over the floor. I don't know if I sent you any photographs, but probably 50 fish in bags, maybe 100 fish in bags. And they're in 2 lots. And each lot is a certain price. And every dealer gets a number. And they get 2 minutes. And they go around, stick the number on a bag for a fish they want. That fish goes. Then the next round, they're reduced in price. And then it goes again. And then on the third round, it's like open season. So they can just run around. They get reduced again, and everyone runs around sticking stickers on the bags. And I'm just like, I don't want to buy fish that way. Do you know what I mean? They're literally falling over each other, and they're sticking. Now, don't get me wrong. We had the ability then to go into Ogata's place is massive, industrial, huge place. And we had the ability to go in, to the fish houses, and his ponds are laid out in grade. So, best fish at the top, next. And the price, they're priced accordingly, and they're priced by however many you buy. So, Chris went in there and he netted up the top pond with the best koi. And, there was stunning fish in there. He bought quite a few out of there for his customers. They'd obviously sent him with a target of what they wanted. Gosh, Kohaku, Ginrin, this, whatever. And, they picked some awesome fish. They really did.
So you're describing there's different rounds where the dealers would run around sticking their stickers on the bags and stuff. That wasn't for you. I'm just curious, is Black Friday a thing in the
Yeah,
UK?
but basically I mean, the auction wasn't for me either. I was not going to get involved. I mean, Chris bought quite a few off the auction for his customers, but obviously, they've seen the photographs, they've give him a bid amount, and he was able to win some. But I met a lovely dealer from San Diego, and I was talking to him, and him and his wife, they had prices written down, and these fish go on an online auction first. Then the starting bid for that koi at the live auction is what it made online. So if it doesn't go up any, they just sell it to the online bidder, basically. And all of his customers' bids were the same or less than what the starting bid of these koi were, and they were just fetching some crazy money. And I didn't like that whole mad on top. It wasn't for me. I did buy a bunch of a tosai through the auction, but there was little Garamo. There was one in a bunch of 3 or 4, and I liked that one fish. And it just right at the end, last lot to come through when I was getting up, and I just seen it. They're walking them down the middle in a bowl, and I looked in and I went, "Oh, that's the one I like." And I seen the price was right, and I just went, "Oh, I'll have them." And I dropped on. I'm going to end up with 4, 25 cm Garamo in my pond. I just hope they don't get sucked down the skimmer.
I did have something on the back of that, but my mind's just gone blank. It's typing and thinking and writing at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. We're not female guys. We can't do it. Multitasking isn't an option.
So yeah, that was it. So I've obviously had a few friends over there at the same time, and to me, you guys going to the farms that you went to, you had a lot more of a personal experience, because every other friend of mine that was over there buying fish seemed to be pulling chopsticks to the opportunity to buy a fish, and that opportunity wasn't sold, because if they picked a number way back, then someone else was buying that fish for way more than what they planned on spending. Like, you had a really personal experience as when you went, and you sent us the videos. I was gobsmacked that, my God, you don't have to pull straws. He's the only one there, and he is just free picking.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
A lot of that was down to Chris. He has relationships there that, it's pretty impressive. I was kind of gobsmacked. There was famous Tomorrowland DJs from the Netherlands. He actually owned the fish that won Grand Champion at the Ogata Cup. Pulling Chris aside, I want a photograph, wanting us to go to the bar that night to play darts with him, which I kicked everyone's backside, by the way, undefeated, just saying. But yeah.
Darts? Oh, no, I'm rubbish at stuff like that.
No, so the Soweto piece was, I felt so more relaxed there. There's a little area in his office with sofas, and you just chill out, no hands. Koji comes in, he sits and smokes 50 fags while you talk to him, and the whole thing we're buying there was more my kind of experience. I think that was what I'd gone for. That, and that's what I wanted. And I bought a Showa as well off him, which is, for definitely a future piece. I liked it. I have a vision for what I know how his fish react in my pond. I know how Sumi comes up, and I like a heavy Sumi Showa. I like plenty of black on there. And this piece is something I think it's going to do well in the future. But it wasn't, it wasn't mind blowing when he put it in the bowl. I thought, yeah, it's a nice fish, and I was able to communicate with Koji directly. Yeah, it's X amount of money. Yeah, okay, I'll have that. And then Chris organizes shipping and quarantine for me. I did ask him about the Kohaku early on when we were first at the farm, and he did not want to bowl it up. He said, it's Ichiban, it's number one piece on the farm. I don't want to risk bowling it up, risk damaging it. It's, and he lost 10 fish to flooding. You know, last year, 10 of his really high-end pieces, he lost to flood. And when I did actually do the deal for the kohaku, I asked him, would he keep it as a carry for me? And he said, no chance. No, special koi, you must take back to the UK. You must take. So Tiesto lives in a street behind me. His name is Johannes. Yeah, Johannes. I've got photographs of him somewhere. Such a nice guy. Such a good guy. Poor dart player, but such. And he was actually one of the assistant judges at the show, and you know he bounced off on a plane to do a set at Thailand and then on to Seattle. I mean, the guy's living his best life, but he was there saying, "Oh, Mr. Chris son, you come for dinner with us," and it was like bombing around there with royalty, to be honest. Chris is seriously well respected, to be fair, and it was a privilege to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gone and seen that set. To be fair, that they do at Phuket in Thailand. We watched. It just was happening the week we came home from there.
I'm too old for Tomorrowland, boys.
I'd still have it. I'm too old for it, but I'd still have a go.
There's a few lads work for me or mad for it. You know, they travel the world and go to Tomorrowland, and then they come back to work, and it takes them about 5 weeks to recover. Well, that's madness.
Right. So while you was over there as well, I've got some pictures that you sent me. You also did a harvest. Is it at Marachiko?
Yep.
Is that probably right?
Edgy, yeah, Marachiko, yeah. Ooh. Edgy's place. Yeah, father and son. And that, you know, we turned up just when they were dragging the nets. And yeah, they pulled some really nice fish out of that pond. And I was watching them bring them in one by, and nearly, you know, I've been texting Edgy for over the last year. I've known Edgy a while. And, you know, I had nearly every piece asked about. And he basically said, you know, let's get them all in, and then I'll show you a pond that you can buy out of. And the stuff that was left, they were nice koi, don't get me wrong, but they weren't what I traveled to Japan to buy. But yeah, that kid is up and coming. I know Joe and Edgy are very good friends from a koi perspective.
This little ginger beard in the corner, he is Joe.
Yeah, you can see Joe.
Hey.
Didn't even notice him on the photograph. Yeah, I was busy looking at the kohaku, but yeah, Joe and Greg were there from Aqua Group, and I think Joe's got some as a carry with Edgy, so they're really really good friends, and that he's just taken over. That's his father bringing the fish in, but Edgy's just taken over from the farm. The last couple of years, I think, and yeah, I think he's going to be one to watch. He's the big names, Nagata and all in Nagata, Sakai, Denichi. If it carries on the way it's going, without a correction in the market, they're just going to be unobtainable for us normal folk. You know what I mean? Unless you've got millions and a Chinese company under your belt and billions to throw at fish. It's just, and I think guys like Edgy and Koji, they're going to step up. I mean, the fish that these guys are producing are phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, when you speak about the Chinese company, so me and Ty was told that one of Sakai's biggest buyers in China, he bought parent stock and flew the chap from Sakai over there and got them to start a Sakai bred farm in China.
Do you know his name?
Do I know the guy's name?
The Chinese chap?
No. I did know the Chinese guy's name, but that was like 4 months ago. Can you remember what was said, Ty?
I've learned more about that stuff from Mickey and Devin and kind of what's been going on in China with Sakai and things. And there's actually a couple of different farms that have started up in China now that basically it's like this giant investment where they pay sockeye a lot of money for like a 3-month course to train their entire staff up and everything to run a koi farm.
Yeah, well, when
so
the money's endless, I think there's going to have to be a correction in the market, because some of the fish is seen selling for some of the prices, and I just thought, I just wouldn't be happy giving that. How do you get that? Yeah, I just don't think there'd be a market for that in the UK. I mean, you pay that money at auction, and I was talking to dealers that had been to Saka and been to Denichi and the auctions there, and they were saying it's just unobtainable, and you can't ship them, import them, pay the tax, and then try and get a market, especially not in the UK. People are not going to pay that.
So we've seen, me and Ty have seen firsthand the koi that came from Sakai, China.
They're pretty outstanding.
They, like, obviously, it was Sakai parent fish that was flown over there. The top guys from Sakai went and did all the grading and taught them, and then the fish that was
koi farm, isn't it?
I wasn't going to throw that out on a live, Dave, but it's exactly what was discussed on the day, right? Team U Sakai fish. Right? They are incredible. Like, what size do you reckon those, Ty? There was all like 60 odd cm, weren't they? There was all massive lumps.
No, they were all good size, and the quality of it, like,
yeah, but 2 ponds, both Sakai fish, one Sakai from China, one Sakai from Japan. The both, it was amazing, but the China one was like 40% less than the other one, and I think there was a lot of fish in that pond that was more to my taste than the name it goes with it. Like, there was serious good fish.
It almost makes me wonder if that's a correction in the market when there is more quality koi entering the market, not just from Japan.
For me,
do it, don't they?
I would. I like the Japanese fish, but I like the Japanese culture. I like the effort. The patience. The centuries of fine tuning and art. I would rather support a smaller farm like Soetsugo than blow my brains out at Sakai to get an inferior fish for what I could afford. But I like the small family-run farm, the intimate personal experience that you get there, rather than just being a number on the end of a wooden spoon at Sakai. Basically, and I'm happy enough to. I have a Sakai Sankey in my pond, and you can tell it's a Sakai Sankey, and I understand they're, what they're doing is next level, but the hobby's not about that for me. It's not, I don't want fish in my pond that have got a Nike tick on the side of them. For me, if it's a nice fish, it's, I'm happy. It doesn't have to be Sakai or Denichi, and I'm not going to get into that because it is. You know what I mean? Don't know if I'm across right, but
it's odd, isn't it? I know, like, A and C have just put there. I'd feel strange saying, "Look at my Chinese pond," but if it's Sakai parent fish, the guy from Sakai is grading it, and then they're selling it.
My opinion is that's neither here nor there. Everything in, I could spawn my koi in the pond. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then rock up to your house with an absolute bag of crap and go, "Here you go, Arron, it's Sakai bread."
Yeah, 100%.
It's
the grading, though, isn't it? Like,
the fish that Arron and I saw, there were there was some fish in there that I would have been over the moon to have had one of those fish in my pond.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Still Chinese. I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Like if
it
that's
is.
the case, go out and fill your pond with Israeli koi or whatever. It's entirely up to you. But but this is the thing about koi keeping, and the beautiful thing about the hobby is there's a niche for everybody. It caters for so many. And
I wish I had the clip to show people, because I bet you any money, if I hadn't have said it, nobody would have guessed it. They are
Hey.
that good.
Well, you wouldn't.
I think I have the clip. I can send it to you really quick.
You wouldn't. Most people wouldn't. I mean, Adam Beyer won baby champion at the national once. It happens. But for me, it's the culture behind it. The way of life behind it that comes from Japan. These other companies jumping on the bandwagon are just doing it to make money. Like this started in Japan. The mud ponds, the raising, the converting the paddy fields into mud ponds. And for me, and this is just a personal preference, I'm not saying I'm right. This is, if you want to fill your pond with Chinese fish because someone from Sakai flew out there and told them how to do it, by all means, be my guest. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, for me, it's not the hobby for me. And that,
No, I definitely would like to go to Japan, and not just that. I like traveling. I like to see the culture and everything else that comes with the country that we've done. We've done a lot of traveling, and it's definitely on my bucket list to go.
Yeah,
but
like
it won't just be koi farms that I want to go see.
No, I'm going to go back next year. I'm going to take my wife. I'm going to go and see Koji because I've got Azakari there. But that's it. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm going to go and see the country. But, getting on that bullet train at a station, there's 2 lines on the floor. You get your ticket. It says you're going to be in car 4. You stand there and the train stops with the door right in front of you. People get off this side. You get on that side. Everyone's like, excuse me, how are you? Getting on. You sit down on the bullet train and there's an announcement saying, put your phone on silent. If you need to take a phone call, there's a cabin at the end of the car. Go take your phone call in there. And it's, everyone's sat there quiet, peaceful, maybe whispering, chatting away, but no noise. Not like you get on a train in the UK and there's a guy pissing in the corner and it's going nuts. You know what I mean? Just the whole respect and the whole way of life was such an eye opener for me. And one of the best things about the trip was getting, just getting to see that.
I've never been to Japan to see fish, but I have been to Tokyo, and that was one of the things that was very not culture shock, but was just very like, oh wow, is being on a bus, like a jam-packed, crowded bus, and there's nobody talking on their phone. Everybody has earphones in, whatever it is, but also just how clean everything was in a city like Tokyo, right? One of the most densely populated cities on the planet, and you don't see a cigarette butt in a
and everybody smokes.
A gutter.
90% of the people are stood there smoking, but everyone takes their fag butts home. No rubbish, but there's no bins. That was another thing. There's hardly any bins in the streets, and everybody takes their rubbish home. It was just, it was a different world. And one, I'll definitely be taking the wife back to see. Yeah, for sure. What are you laughing at?
Just some of the comments. Just, I mean, it is, isn't it? It is still a Chinese fish. You've got Scrags there saying he's got a better chance of getting to Germany. I mean, if he wants to go get a Dainichi fish from Germany, where he's going to go do all that, and he can't see himself going to Japan, it's still a buying experience, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Should not be shunned against. So, are you telling me that when you go back to Koji's, that you will definitely not be tempted to buy another £20 fish?
There is 100% chance I'll probably buy something else. But I have.
The problem is, will your £20 stretch as far this year as what it is next year.
Yeah, because I've been studying Japanese, so I'll be able to tell Koji this fish is £20, and I will bank transfer you the rest when she's had a few cocktails. No, I mean my wife knows because I dropped myself in it, didn't I? You know, I took the family out for Wagyu steak, and I took a photograph of the invoice on the table, and I sent it to my wife to say the steak was good. I didn't know the invoice was on the table, and obviously I got a message back with it zoomed in saying, "What the bloody hell, love?" But you know, it wasn't that bad, to be honest. It wasn't that bad.
It's like you spent £20 on a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the invoice, and buying 5 fish at £20 is exceedingly bad.
Yeah. But it worked out so well for me. I bought the show. I ended up going back, and he did bowl up his number one Kohaku, and it did hit me the way I wanted to be hit. You know, and I bought it while we were off in Hiroshima and at all the other farms. Koji was actually harvesting his Tadagoi pond, bringing his Tosai in, which is next year's stock, which nobody gets a look at. And he was bringing them in for the winter. He was harvesting those ponds, and he's chairman of the Fukuoka show as well. And that show was on the Sunday when we were due to fly home. And it's a junior show. I think up to 65 boo, up to 65 is the biggest fish. And he had selected 60 of his Tadagoi to go to this show. And because of the relationship, obviously, with Chris and the relationship he'd formed with myself over that time, he actually gave me, because I was complaining I couldn't find anything to leave as a carry, and he actually gave me the opportunity to purchase some of his Tadagoi. And I purchased 6 pieces to leave in Japan with him. And all 6 went to the koi show in Fukuoka, and all 6 placed. I had a first, 3 seconds, and 2 thirds with all 6 of those little fish. And that has got me so excited. I'm super excited to see them come out of the mud pond next year.
You haven't showed them fish yet, have you?
The babies?
Yeah.
No. Have you got a photograph of them?
Yep.
Yeah, no, you can show them. They're all right.
I'm just trying to.
Yes, Mark, that is a future investment. That is right.
I know, because the problem that I've got is I've got the ones where I scribbled numbers on them where I was rating them, and I'm trying to find ones where it doesn't have my scribble all over it. Yeah, I think I've got a little video of it. Yes, we've got a video of it. No, we've got a picture of it. Let me find a better one, because that one's. But I did like that. I rated Dave's fish. I'm not. Anyone can take a guess at number 1 who wants to do it. And I picked Dave's fish from 1 to 6, and we got the first 3 in the right order. Well, not the right order. We agreed on the first 3. The other ones. Here we go. Right, save as. Or can't I just show that screen, maybe? No.
But they're only babies, right? Only a few months
old.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, but the fact that you know what they're gonna do when.
Well, that's a fingers crossed game. Nobody really knows. But I know. But
they're not going to be 20 cm come next year, are they?
No. Certainly not.
Right, here we go. Where's this picture I've just saved? WhatsApp image.
I mean, there's a lot of talk there about English and Japanese. I have a koi in my pond that was bred by Cuttlebrook, you know, and I bought it as a bunch of maybe 500 jumbo fry many years ago.
Have we got?
What are you doing?
I'm
Koi.
trying. There you go. That's not working very well, is it?
No. Yeah, show a three Kohakus, a Sankey, and a Tancho in it. And you can see you can see there the bloodlines on the Sankey. It's so much heavier sumi already. It is a Marathon Sankey, that by the way. But
so, anybody want to take a guess on? Let me just move that there because I'm struggling to do that. Anyone want to take a guess on which one we picked as number one koi in that bowl?
I can't even remember myself, so I'm gonna have to look back.
No,
Ty.
I'm not gonna guess.
Go on, Ty. Have a guess. Which is your favourite koi? Doesn't have to be Dave's number one.
My favorite koi.
Yeah. If you could have one of them, if Dave was boxing you it up and sending you it, which one would you have?
You know, I'm a sucker for Shella, but that's not my favorite fish. You know, I kind of like that Kohaku in the very center. I'm a sucker for a two-step.
I think the first one I picked was the one with the flory pattern.
Yeah.
On the right.
This one here.
Because the skin quality on that, the photograph doesn't do it justice, but the skin quality on that piece is.
To all your other photographs, I made into a PTF so I could bring them up as a proper slide, like so. Doing that on the fly. Let me see. You just sent me another picture. So the one at the bottom right, the like 5 or 6 step, for me that was incredible. It's really clean, even when I zoomed in on it and we had a good look at it swimming.
Yeah, Simon's got it bob on there.
Yeah, that's the one that both me and Dave picked as number one, Simon. It was bottom. Yeah.
For me, it was a standout piece. And believe it or not, that fish came third in the show. It actually lost out to the one that Ty picked. So there you go.
Really?
I've sent you the result. I've sent you the result.
Me and Dave know shit.
Yeah, I've sent, but that just shows you. I think the body is maybe a bit bigger on Ty's one, and that's pretty much first and foremost in Japan.
Well, that is getting judged now, and you're not buying them for now. You're buying them for the future. So
exactly.
That might mean that fish is more finished now. It's got a better body at that size and it looks really well. But realistically, you're buying them for Azakari and what they might do. And I think number one for me, if it stays like it is going to be an absolute cracker. Followed by, I've put number one. I'm reading not just off my phone where I've wrote numbers next to them all. Followed by your shower as number 2, and then Ty's pick at number 3. And then, although I really liked the Shiro, it was it was so skinny that I had to put that last.
Shiro, the Sankey. There is no Shiro on there. I don't have black and white in my
Marathon Sankey, yeah. So,
yeah.
Sorry, it's about the size of a stamp on my screen.
Yeah, and it's
that one.
Yeah, I can't focus it on my camera, but whoa, what you done? And that just shows you how he's changed the bloodline.
Yeah,
have so much more.
Look how good the skin is on
the Kohaku.
That Kohaku. So obviously the picture that I brought up was rubbish, but if you look at even on Dave's phone when you see that, it is incredible. It's incredible, that is. But So a lot of fish at that Agata Cup that you were sending us. To be fair, I was really surprised with what they'd entered it. So you secured these Tatagoi, and then you managed to enter them in a show the last day you was here. There.
Yeah, well, I bought them from Koji at Suetsugu, and he is the chairman of the judging body for Fukuoka for koi, and he is the chairman of the local show. And he had actually, I didn't bother. He had ponds full of Tatagoi that he'd pulled out, but he had selected a certain number for the show. And rather than me trying to use my untrained eye, I thought, well, if he selected some for a show, he obviously knows what he's on about. I'll just look at those ones. And that's where I ended up. I mean, to be honest, I could have probably shot myself in the foot there, because he's looking at more finished fish at that stage for the show, where I should be looking more for the future. But it didn't matter. I wasn't too, I was happy enough to get to pick them. And he just said, do you still want them to go to the show? And I said, of course I do, yeah. And he took them. I mean, Chris Masters got best overall Kohaku in that size, because literally when they bowled him up, Chris's eye went, I'm having that one. Straight away, before anyone had a word to say anything, he's like, and it was the best. It was a proper standout piece. And Koji had said, that is my best Tatagoi. And Chris was like, well, will you sell it to me? And they managed to come up with a deal. And that went to the show. And that just, it's why there's so many seconds on my board rather than any firsts.
Do you know when you get the feeling that someone's staring you in the back and you turn around and he's just stood looking at the back of your head like that?
My office door's closed and mine's been barking away at the door. So I think the family have come and got him now.
Right, Ty, do you have any more questions? Because I do understand that we've been going for a while.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, my Irish coffee's empty here, boys.
I thought you meant two.
I did. I drank one before we come on.
Has anybody else got any questions for Dave regard? Because I don't want to spoil his video, because he has got some amazing fish, and me and Ty were privileged.
That's the reason I don't have questions, is because I do, but...
So we was very privileged enough to see him and to see these fish there. The shower, I know 100% is too much Sumi for my style, but my dad is right up that street. He thought that was amazing when I showed him the fish, and I showed him without the numbers on, and was like, which one would you have? And he said, bang, show us straight away. And I just knew he would though. That was a good thing. So,
yeah, I mean, I like a heavy Sumi, sure. And that's what, every time I went to a farm and I pointed one out, that was Chris Masters. Oh, you like a lot of Sumi, don't you? So, on a show, yeah. Not on a Sankey. Other than koi, what else did I bring back? Well, after my wife had seen the invoice of what I spent on koi, I knew I wasn't going to get away with bringing her back a fridge magnet. So... I had to do a lot of shopping for the girls. And I mean, I'll be honest, that was one of the biggest issues. I was there for nearly 2 weeks, and that's the longest time I've ever been apart from my girls. Got a wife and 3 daughters, and I felt that, I really did. So yeah, Koji's wife, Midori, she took me out shopping to all the places. My wife sent me a list with brands, things like, Japanese travelers notebooks. Most of the stationery product my wife uses is Japanese, so that's just stuff for the girls. I did get a lot of gifts. I mean, they're all down here. I've got flags from Manabu Ogata, 3 different flags. They're full on. Calendars and everything else. I thought, I'm going to have to throw all my underpants in the bin just so I can get all this stuff in my case, you know what I mean, to try and get it back. But
did you have to do that, Ty, when you went back? Did you have to bin a lot of stuff?
Yeah, I tossed an old pair of shoes, stuff like that.
Well, I was very lucky. I had two case allowance when and one of them was pretty much empty when I flew out. I knew I was sent with a list. My wife had sent me a load of Japanese brands that she wanted me to try and bring stuff back, and that's that's what we did. But I've a daughter's mad in the anime, a lot of One Piece stuff, and yeah, that's brought a couple of nets back, just for myself, little fry nets to hang on the wall, but yeah, I spent all my money on fish, boys.
Do you know what? I really wish I'd have asked you, to be fair, to bring me a koi sock back, but it completely slipped my mind. But I seen the one that that Chris was using. Was it Chris on one of the pictures that he sent me? And I was like, do you know what? I don't have a very good one of them, and they look far better built than the stuff we get in the UK. I think it was on this. In fact, it was even this. The net that he was using selecting from on that picture, and I was like, oh my god, they look so much better built.
Yeah, everything they do is like an art form. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the movie Love Actually, where the guy goes in to buy a necklace or something for someone he's having, and Rowan Atkinson's serving him, and he's like, you said you want a gift wrapped, and he's doing all this. I mean, I went and got the girls' hats from UGG, and that's literally what it was like, in a little bag and then sealed up and then in another bag and tied with ribbons, and they're cutting all the ribbons. And I'm like, Jesus, I'm getting 3 of these. I'm gonna be here a while. And they all get boxed up and all packed up and wrapped all. And it was just like, wow, this is crazy. This is mad. And the nets were like that. And if you had said, I'd have gladly brought you some back, because Will put an order in with Koji for sock nets and pan nets and stuff that he wanted, and they were there the next day. But yeah, Saki Akari 20-kilo bags, guys, is about 40 quid. I mean, what the hell? About 40, 50 quid.
How much is a 20-kilo suitcase allowance?
Yeah, well, that was it. I had 2 23-kilo allowances, and
so no clothes, no shoes, came back in your case.
2 bags of sake.
2 bags of sake.
And a bag of sake in my backpack. No, it was just crazy. The markup that Pedigree put on it, it's getting beyond the joke.
Yeah, I mean,
my question is, why is koi food so affordable in the UK? What I mean by that is, when we were on, we had Mickey and Devin on, we were looking at the cost, right, of what I don't know, a 30-pound bag of sake is in the UK versus here. And even after the conversion rates, it's still more expensive here.
Honestly, Dave. So after that show, I put a VPN on, and I just to have a look how much sake is around the world. And we ain't got it as bad as what people think, but it's certainly more cheaper where Aquadistry sell it rather than Pedigree sell it. But yeah, the US, they get absolutely taxed to heaven on sake akari over there.
Yeah, but their fuel's a lot cheaper to go and pick it up, so it swings and roundabouts.
The fuel might be cheaper, but they all have 6-litre cars.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah, my truck has a V8. I don't know.
Madness. Never mind the backy smugglers, get the sake smugglers. Yeah, that sounds about right. I did try and talk to the food at Ogata's place. The colour food they feed. It's just, it's a different level. See the colour of it and the smell of it, and the vibrance on the koi. And Tani was telling us, like, oh yeah, these are just on the colour. These are just on colour. So I was out for dinner, and being of a business mind, and I've got an export and import license anyway. I asked them, can I get a shipping container, and they just would not entertain it. Not even, he wouldn't even broach the subject. He was like, no, too much legislation, too much work for the UK to move their food. And I would love to have a trial of that. Chris has sworn by it for years. I mean, he takes little bags of it home in his suitcase, for God's sake. But for me, I would love to get that in. But I noticed, there was a food at Omasako. I see Chip from Rastakoi did a short today about being at Omasako, and he scans over the food and he's like, I'll come back to that later. That's Odakan's Pure White. And that looked interesting food.
I've got a picture of that on my PC, yeah.
I didn't know Odakan did food.
Sorry?
I didn't know that he did food.
I think I took a photograph of it on my phone.
I've got it.
No law, just legislation. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Did I send that to you?
Did you send that to me? I don't think you sent that to...
Oh, no, you did send that to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're not the first person to send that to me, and you're not the first... the colour food that you was on about, I've seen that as well.
But like I feed the Sake Akari Pure White Shiroji for certain periods if I'm gonna show, and like my wife and kids have to get a handful of muesli twice a week when I'm feeding that, because it's just this ridiculous money. Like, it's crazy. And if Oda can't do a food there, and Omasako Shirotsuri is some of the best in the world, right? Pure White. It was just interesting to see it there.
Yeah, it's even got English on the bag, hasn't it? It's like they're exporting it to be read, because all the instructions are in English as well as Japanese.
Interesting.
Someone will be planning to bring that over. I put it into Google Translate actually, and it'd be interesting to know the actual who that is. But speaking about the Sake Pure White, I popped into Wakefield Koi last week, and he had it on the shelf, and it's the first shop I've seen it on the shelf. And he isn't expensive by any stretch of the imagination, but I was still floored at the price of a bag
5 kilo bag.
That big, right? That was VAT packed. And I was like, why is that much money? And then I saw the Pure White, and I remember speaking to you about it, and I was like, wow, can you imagine like some people feed a kilo a day, and
that's me, but I mix it with N20 sinking. So the N20 from Absolute Koi, and in the height of summer it's a kilo a day. But the do one as well, a pure red. If you ever see that one, that's more expensive again. I don't think I've never fed it. But it's Sake Akari Pure Red. I think it's more expensive again than the Pure White. It's just crazy.
Well, thank you for coming on, Dave. I don't want to
no, thank you for
run much further, because it oversteps Vince's live as well, and I'm not one to do that. But me and Ty, we both really appreciate you coming on, and I certainly am looking forward to this video.
Thanks for coming on, Dave.
No, thank you guys for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure and a hoot. And
I must say, from the fish I've seen, for 20 quid a piece, you have done fantastic.
Yeah. Do you want to buy them for 40?
Yeah. I'll run upstairs now and ask the boss, but I think I'll be safe with 40 quid.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god. Well,
cheers, fellas.
Thank you all for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.
Take it easy, guys.
And so the stream trickles to a close. You've listened, you've learned, you've watched Ty try to pronounce Japanese words again. We've cast our net, and today, it pulled up something valuable. Knowledge, insight, maybe even a few controversial filter opinions. To our guest, thank you for diving in. To the audience, thank you for splashing around with us. And to Arron, well, thank you for keeping this thing from sinking completely. Remember, the pond never sleeps, and neither does curiosity. So until next time, keep your nets ready, your test kits handy, and whatever you do, don't ask about stocking levels in the comments. This has been Hold My Net.